Al, is it too trite to call this a must-win game after 2 losses?
Yeah, you know, standings-wise, I suppose you could say, well, there's still a lot of schedule to go and whatnot, but boy, between the years, I think it's huge, just based on what's happened the last 2 weeks. The loss in Regina was disappointing. The loss at home to BC was horrible on so many levels, not the least of which was just the absolute lack of execution on the offense's part. I like the way the defense bounced back in that game. They were particularly dreadful in Regina, let's face it, but I think the offense needs to get back on track in this game, and they have to. Let's face facts. They're playing, you know, one of the top teams in the CFL, if not the top team in a lot of people's minds. So yeah, they're going to have to be back to their A game.
How much of that is on Henry Burris?
Well, take a look at the stats. Take a look at what he did against BC, which is to say nothing. That's his worst game in a long, long time in Stampeder colors, and he's going against a defense that is tough. I think they're susceptible in the secondary, but at the end of the day, it's still about the quarterback putting the passes in the right spot, and he wasn't doing that against BC.
Who else are you looking at coming into this game?
You know, I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Calgary defense, particularly the secondary, deals with Montreal's offense tonight. Obviously, Anthony Calvillo. I mean, you're not gonna hold him under 300 yards. Let's face facts. He's that good, and he's got a good set of receivers. It was a great set, but I'm not sure without Kerry Watkins that it's still the same. But in particular interest, I mean, Ben Cahoon always intrigues me, and he's sitting at 999 catches coming into this game. Obviously, I think it's a safe bet that he'll get number 1,000 plus tonight. And the thing is, you know, there's not too many secrets about Ben Cahoon, but he just runs such precise routes that obviously I think this secondary has to make sure that he doesn't get free on them. They have to keep him, throw a tight blanket on him, and you know what? People have tried that many times in the past and haven't succeeded.
Any other Stampeders to key on?
You know, it'll be good to see that defensive front get back in action after missing the game against BC, which isn't to say they missed them. I thought they had a great game against the BC Lions. You know, the BC's offense wasn't much better than Calgary's. They just happened to kick some field goals that Calgary didn't. So, but again, anytime you're playing against Anthony Calvillo, you got to get pressure on him, and that's a good offensive line. I think that's going to be a real battle to watch, is Calgary's defensive front seven against that Montreal offensive line.
You watch a lot of practices. How has this week been?
Well, there was the interesting interplay with the Brawgate, obviously, with Henry Burris. But you know what? I think it's a pretty positive group of guys right now, upbeat about that they're not as bad as what they've shown the last 2 weeks. But believing that and actually executing on the field, two different things. We'll see how they make out tonight.